Hey, awesome people. Mr. C back with another fractions video. Make sure if you learn anything new at all, click that like and subscribe button. Join us as we continue making math understandable and challenging. This video, we are going to continue in our multiplication of fractions series. We are going to be showing multiplication as repeated addition. We're going to work through that. This is the teaching video for this. So when you get done watching this, make sure you check out the description below for the practice problems video. Also in the description, you will find 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, all things fractions, and mixed numbers. Also, parents, teachers, in the description below, there are 2 links for IXL, a 7-day free trial and a 20% off an annual or monthly membership. I have loved using IXL in my classroom. It is a great way for students to get independent practice for 15 or 20 minutes and for students to be able to track their learning. It is an awesome program. I highly recommend it. You can find those links in the description below. All right. So let's get started with some teaching video of multiplication as repeated addition of fractions. Let's go. As we say before every single one of our videos, make sure you have a growth mindset. A growth mindset means that we are using our mistakes to help us get better. Mistakes equals brain growth. Just because we can't do something, that just means that we can't do it yet. Stick with it. Keep practicing. Ask good questions. All right. So at this point in our learning, you should have already seen the models videos. If you haven't seen those, check those out. Because what we're going to do here is we're just going to talk about, if I have this problem, what does it look like as repeated addition? Because we know that multiplication is the same thing as repeated addition. In repeated addition, we're talking about adding the same number over and over and over again. Okay? So what we're going to do here is we're just going to break this down into how we could add it, because that's what eventually we're going to be solving when we do the multiplication. But before we do the multiplication, I show you how to do that, I want to make sure you know how this is added together, what this actually looks like, what we're actually doing when we're multiplying. All right, so here we go. 4 times 2/3. What would that look like if we were to add? Okay, what would that look like if we were to add? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to be adding 2/3 how many times? Right? How many times are we going to be adding 2/3? So we take 2/3 here and we're going to add it 4 times. So that's what we're going to be doing. When we're multiplying 4 times 2/3, what you're doing is you're taking 4 and you're going to add 2/3 4 times. You're taking 2/3 and you're saying, okay, I'm going to take 2/3 and I'm going to add that 4 times. Another way that I want to point out is a lot of times you'll kind of see this in a different way, and what will happen is people will take this and they'll say, well, I don't want to do it by 2/3, I want to do it by 1/3. And so to do that, they would then change that to where it's 1/3. So each time they would say, okay, 4 times 2/3 would be the same thing as what? And I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about here in a few minutes. So if we were to add this up and to get our answer, first thing we'd have to do is double check and make sure the denominators are the same, which they are. So the denominator is going to be 3, the numerator is going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, and our answer is going to be 8/3. All right, this is what it literally looks like when you are going to multiply, and I'm going to show you what that looks like very soon. But in order to get to that multiplication step, you need to understand that multiplication of fractions means that you're just repeatedly adding that fraction. 4 times 2/3, you're taking 2/3 and you're adding that to itself 4 different times. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So ask yourself, how did we get the 4? What happened to it? Why did we write 2/3 down 4 times? How did we get 3 in our denominator? How is our numerator 8? Ask yourself those questions. Rewatch this part if you need to. But kind of slow yourself down. Again, If you missed the models teaching video, you need to check that out, because I don't want you to just be a calculator. Parents, teachers, make sure they can do this here, but then have them draw you a model. See if they can draw a picture of what this actually looks like. That is our goal, is that they can visually understand what it looks like, and then they can solve it this way. This here is a lot more efficient, meaning it takes me a lot less time to do it this way than it does to draw a model. But if I don't understand what it actually looks like, then what good does it do me to know that the answer is 8/3? Okay, just a word of warning there. Make sure you take your time and understand what it actually looks like. All right, so how about we try another? Here is our next problem. We've got 2 times 4/5. So what are we thinking here? How could we represent this expression as addition? Well, the fraction we have is 4/5. I think you would agree with that. The fraction we have is 4/5. Now, how many times are we going to add 4/5? Well, we're going to be adding 4/5 2 times. So here's 1 time, here is 2 times. If we add that up, denominators are the same, it stays the same. Add the numerators, 4 plus 4 is 8. And we get an answer of 8/5. There you go. And again, if you're solving this really quickly and efficiently, awesome. But make sure you know what it looks like. Draw a picture, make sure you can model it. Some of you may be figuring out how 2 times 4/5, how it is equal to this. You may be figuring out what you're multiplying, what numbers multiply where, and all of that. And if so, awesome. If not, that's totally cool as well. All right, that's why you're sticking with me and we're working through these problems. So 2 times 4/5 is the same thing as 4/5 plus 4/5. Both of these operations, these expressions, will give you the answer of 8/5. All right, ask yourself, where are you stuck? Where are you confused? What didn't make sense? I want you to try one more with me. Here's the last one I have. We have 5 times 1/2. So what is our fraction? Well, our fraction is 1/2. So we've got 1/2. Now, how many times do we need to add 1/2 to itself? 5 times. So we're going to do 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. That's 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Plus 1/2. That's 4. Plus 1/2. That is 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add all this up. Denominators are the same, so it stays the same. Add the numerators. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you get an answer of 5/2, or 5/2. So, do you see where 1/2, why we put 1/2 down here? We put 1/2 because that's the fraction that we're multiplying 5 times. Why do we have 1/2 written 5 times? That's what we're multiplying 1/2 by. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add all that up, that gives you 5/2. Same thing if we were to multiply it, we would get the same exact answer. But again, I think it's really important to understand what it actually looks like when we're talking about fraction multiplication. All right. Again, this is whole number times fraction multiplication. We'll talk about fractions times fractions later on, probably in 5th grade. But for right now, this is a good spot for you to be at. Parents, teachers, I encourage you to make sure students are asking good questions. Make sure they can see what they're talking about. Make them draw a model, prove it to you. Students, prove it to yourself. Make sure you're not just becoming a calculator. Make sure you're actually solving it and understanding what it looks like. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as always, the practice problems video is linked in the description below. Check it out. Also, if you learned anything new at all, click that like and subscribe button. Join us as we continue making math understandable and challenging. Parents, teachers, if you're looking for some independent practice, check out those IXL links below. They are great ways for students to get some more individualized practice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you. Mr. C, out.